Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, North Carolina, we're going to get to talk, and we're going to get to talk because something really exciting is happening out in your state, or so it would appear. We already know there's 29 states in the United States that are constitutional carry or permitless carry, and candidly, there's only one state that politically probably has the ability to be number 30, and that is the state of North Carolina. We're going to introduce you to a House bill today that would do exactly that, but North Carolina, you need to read the fine print because it places a lot of you in jeopardy to get disarmed if this bill actually becomes law. We'll explain it all. We'll connect the dots for you here in just a minute. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about North Carolina's dangerous constitutional carry bill. Okay, hey, listen, before we get going too far down the road we're going down, let's remember that this video is being brought to us by the Sonoran Desert Institute. That's right, get ready to launch your career in the firearm industry today. Get ready to start arming yourself with education today. And most importantly, get ready to start defending the inalienable rights of millions of Americans nationwide, all through our most powerful act, which of course is education. Listen, the good folks over at SDI have a program, a certificate, or a degree for anything that you may desire. So for more information, check them out in the description box below. Or better yet, just visit them at sdi.edu. Okay, North Carolina, we are talking about House Bill 5, which if passed into legislation would make you the 30th constitutional carry state, but there will be some exceptions. So this isn't a particularly clean bill at all. I want you to understand that, North Carolina. There are a lot of things. And oh, by the way, if you like to tip them back once in a while and you mix that activity with automobiles, you can get disarmed pretty easily. And as a matter of fact, if you like to tip them back in general and you don't even want to mix it with automobiles, that could also provide several periods of time in which you, in fact, will be disarmed. We'll explain all in just a moment. Now, just so you understand what this bill intends to do, the preamble to House Bill 5 reads as follows. An act to protect a person's right to carry a concealed handgun without a permit, to continue allowing persons to acquire a concealed handgun permit for the purposes of reciprocity or for any other reason desired, and to authorize officials elected in their state to carry a concealed firearm while performing their official duties if the official has a concealed handgun permit. We're not going to focus on that last part because there's only a handful of people in your state that are state legislators. What we are going to do is focus on you, the lawful and responsible gun-owning North Carolina resident. Now, here's what this bill really does. It amends GS 14-269. What is that? Well, that is the statute that will prohibit the unlawful carrying of firearms, and in that where you would find an unlawful carrying of a firearm without a concealed carry permit, okay? But the amendment that would come from this bill would add a very, very important and out clause for firearms because this language would be added to the end of it. For purposes of this section, the term weapon does not include a firearm. Okay, so that basically eliminates that statute. There's a whole list of other weapons that are unlawful to carry in the state of North Carolina. Those remain unaffected, but a firearm changes. Okay, now with this bill comes a whole new laundry list of people who would be excluded from the protections of this statute. Translation, if you're any one of these people, you do not get to constitutionally carry a firearm. It just won't work that way. Now, I'm not going to go through all 14, and most of them are the usual suspects. But North Carolina, and this is what I'm talking about when I said, hey, if you like to drink alcohol, which I got zero issues with, you need to be aware of two of these, okay? Because one of the newly amended conditions reads, 5 is an unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana, alcohol, or any depressant, stimulant, or narcotic drug, or any other controlled substance as defined in 21 U.S.C. Section 802. Okay, now we know that there is a federal prohibition upon people possessing firearms that are unlawfully using or addicted to controlled substances. However, alcohol is not included in the federal prohibition. Now, I'm not certain whether or not this was a previous condition in the state of North Carolina, but if you would be deemed to be alcohol dependent, an alcoholic, whatever terminology or nomenclature you want to use, technically, that will preclude you from being able to constitutionally carry a firearm. Okay, Now, maybe you don't have an addiction problem or some kind of dysfunctional relationship with alcohol, but you can still be disarmed for simply picking up a single incident of driving under the influence. Because one of the other prohibitions specifically states, 14 has been convicted of an impaired driving offense under GS 20-138.1.2 or .3 within 3 years prior to the date on which the person is carrying the weapon. So any DUI-like conviction under those applicable North Carolina laws within the last 3 years means you will not be permitted to constitutionally carry a firearm. And oh, by the way, North Carolina, if you end up in violation of this, a first offense is a Class 2 misdemeanor, a second offense or subsequent offense is a Class H felony. But then, North Carolina, we've talked about people who have drinking problems. We've talked about people who've had run-ins with the law because they mixed alcohol and an automobile, okay? But what about the rest of you who just like to have a few drinks once in a while and socialize? Well, as you know, there was a prohibition against carrying firearms into locations that exclusively sold alcohol. I want you to understand that there's some pretty significant language that's going to be added to that prohibition, because this bill, if it becomes law in this form, will read as follows. It shall be unlawful for any person consuming alcohol or at any time while the person has remaining in the person's body any alcohol or in the person's blood a controlled substance previously consumed to carry any gun, rifle, or pistol into any assembly where a fee has been charged for admission thereto, or into any establishment in which alcoholic beverages are sold and consumed. Okay, so if you're going into a public place where there's a ticketed event or something like that, if you have any measurable blood alcohol level at all, you will be prohibited by North Carolina law from constitutionally carrying a firearm. So understand, while your state legislature is certainly trying to do the right thing, they are creating several pitfalls that many of you could fall into and find yourself disarmed in some way. Now, the legislation also makes a lot of changes to concealed carry or constitutional carry on campuses. I'm going to, again, link the bill up down below so that you can geek out on it. I think you should pay attention to that. Now, will this eliminate North Carolina's concealed carry licensing? No, because as you already heard at the very beginning, in order for the state legislators to be able to carry while on state capitol grounds, they are going to, in fact, need to carry that license as well. They are going to keep a concealed carry licensing program there in North Carolina for the reasons stated in the bill, while GS 14-415.35 makes it lawful to carry a concealed weapon in the state without obtaining a concealed handgun permit. It is often convenient to have a concealed handgun permit for the purpose of reciprocity when traveling in another state, to make the purchases of a firearm more efficient, or for various other reasons. Therefore, the state of North Carolina shall continue to make a concealed handgun permit available to any person who applies for and is eligible to receive a concealed handgun permit pursuant to this article. Okay, so is North Carolina moving towards a constitutional carry state? Yes, they are, if House Bill 5 actually becomes reality. But what I want the folks in North Carolina to realize is that while there is tremendous benefits with this legislation, for those of you who like to go out and socialize and use adult beverages, there are several ways that this legislation creates areas where you could stub your toe and find yourself disarmed. Okay, once again, it is House Bill 5. We're going to link it up down below so that all of you out there can geek out on it for yourself. You don't have to take our word for it. If you got any questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. But if you don't, that information's right down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, you click on that link right there and tell us all about it. If you want to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, the ability to do all of that's down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's everyone remember that part of being a lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.